Welcome to Drinks on the House. My name is Zach Kowalski. With me, as always, my co-host, the pride of Pinckney, Kevin Alice.
I'm Kevin Alice, and I listened to a lot of Avril Lavigne this weekend.
Why?
What?
Because I could.
Define a lot.
The 5 songs of her that mattered at all.
Name those 5 songs, I guess. That would be my next question.
My Happy Ending, Complicated, Skater Boy, Here's to Never Growing Up. Fuck, there's one more.
Was it that
I forget the
Hello
last
Kitty
one. Probably.
Okay.
All right. I don't have any more follow-up questions. Why?
I guess maybe you do, because it sounds like you're starting a sentence.
Yeah. The wheels started turning as soon as I said that. What drove you to listen to said Avril Lavigne song?
So, what drove me to listen to Avril Lavigne? heavily drunk. And me and my Nathan decided, you know who we haven't heard of or listened to in a long time?
You know, there's a girl that used to hang out outside of one of our college buildings that used to call me Skater Boy every day.
I feel like you should be mercilessly offended by that nickname.
I was.
Yeah.
Because I skated to class every day. And I'd hop up and say, hey, Skater Boy. It's like,
I think I remember that girl.
Like, that wasn't even like a... I'm confused by that girl calling you that nickname, because that wasn't even that wasn't like current even at that point in time. Like,
no,
that was
not at all.
That was like a good 7 to 10 years after Avril Lavigne was really like popular.
She really missed the boat with that nickname.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a joke.
All right. I'm sorry. This whole Avril Lavigne thing is really taking my hand out from under me. This is I feel off kilter now.
Joining us also, he is the glue that holds this whole thing together. Andrew Hamill.
I don't have anything. I'm still stuck on the Avril Lavigne thing. Just move on to Josh.
All right, good.
I got nothing.
Excellent news.
And finally, he is the producer / seducer. Super producer Josh.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for him to somehow run out of a tunnel. After that intro.
I've been practicing.
Bust into the room like a Kool-Aid man.
Who's this? Josh is coming out of the fucking gate?
My God, it's the super producer.
And who's he got behind him? It's the Skater Boy.
Skater.
Leave your tech decks at home, baby.
My God, King.
Did he just do a 50-50 on the Cage of Rage?
All right, Kevin, you want to introduce to our first and always first segment?
Absolutely. Our first segment is always our Week in Nerd. I have been playing just a shit ton of Danganronpa this week.
That Rampa.
Just so much. Someone on my stream actually nicknamed it Danganronpa. So I've taken to calling it that as well.
Dank that Rampa.
Danganronpa. But yeah, the story's really heating up in it with everything, and the murder mysteries are becoming more prevalent, which is super nice. But yeah, I've been streaming a ton of that because I've decided to stream it when I play it, and I've wanted to play it. So just a lot of streaming last week.
Nice.
But I caught up on a lot of my animes too. I caught up on Attack on Titan. I caught up on Psychono. I just caught up on a lot of stuff, which was nice. I also rewatched Community for about the 4th time.
Nice. Like the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole series.
That's fucking awesome.
Season by
Wow.
season. Well, sorry, except for the 6th season. I just kind of.
I was gonna say I've never seen the Yahoo season.
The Yahoo exclusive
It's not that
season.
it's not that the 6th season was bad. It's just not as good as the other one. So I just keep going back.
Well, it's missing like half the original cast, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I've never bothered to see it.
Yeah, I love Community, but I couldn't believe that, and I got really
Well, it's
discouraged.
tough when you lose your funniest 2 characters as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Donald Glover and Chevy Chase.
I'm glad they killed off Chevy Chase, honestly.
No.
Because he almost single-handedly killed Community. So I just felt like that was kind of really cathartic to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
he got Dan Harmon kicked off of his own show.
You're talking about the backstage stuff. Okay, I thought you meant the character on the show. Character on the show was amazing.
Well, yeah, no, he was great. But yeah, he got Dan Harmon kicked off his own show. And
yeah, no.
I know
that.
Yeah.
No, Chevy Chase is a real piece of shit.
Yeah. I think there's only been one other time I could think of where like something like that happened to like a show. The creators got kicked off, and I just stopped watching. I just like refused to watch it. So.
What show's that?
Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I like.
I've always wanted to watch Gilmore.
It's really good. It's really, really smart and funny, and it's really well done.
Mm-hmm.
But the creators of that show like put their fucking heart and soul into it. It was like this Amy Sherman Palladino and her husband worked on it for 6 seasons, and it was just a fucking huge show, and the WB just kicked them off and said, you guys suck, even though you pretty much did all the work. And I was just like, okay.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I still have to watch the show. I know you've been advocating for it.
Oh, I tell everyone about it. But if you talk to me long enough, I'll start throwing some weird shit your way. I'm like, oh yeah, you gotta watch Dawson's Creek and the OC and all this relevant stuff. So.
And the Golden Girls.
Yeah, see, I need to watch
You need to watch Golden Girls.
The other Gigi.
Fuck yeah.
Golden Girls. And then...
I love Golden Girls.
That's awesome. Anywho.
But yeah, that's basically my week. Not too eventful this week.
I also haven't had too eventful of a week. I started reading a new book. It's called American Nations by Colin Woodward. And the subtext is the history of the 11 regional cultures of North America. So it kind of delves into why there's so much of a cultural divide across America. And it focuses on going back to the original colonists that came to America and had different ideas and ideals, and how those kind of interacted with each other and what pervades our divide today. Super interesting. I'm only about 40 pages into it, just the explanation. But it's a pretty famous book on human geography. If you're a nerd like me about geography and history, definitely pick it up. It gives some context to like the modern cultural divide. That's my only new thing I have for my weekend nerd.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's slightly more intellectual than I feel like a lot of our endeavors on this.
Yeah, it was a birthday present to myself.
Solid. You've broken our mold.
But yeah, like Zach said, it's almost his birthday. As he has bought himself some nerdy, intellectual type gifts, I have tried my best to dumb him down by purchasing him a copy of Tony Hawk's Underground 2 for his birthday. So
Fuck yeah.
hopefully I can weave that into his schedule and find a way to bring him back to Earth.
Bam Margera versus Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Slaying Bagheera.
A battle for the late 2000s.
I feel like that should be like the tagline or like the subtitle to like your autobiography. Zach Kowalski in the battle of the early 2000s.
I will say Underground 2 has one of the best soundtracks of any Tony Hawk's. And they all have great soundtracks.
Is it me now? Is it?
if you want to be.
I wasn't sure if there was still more coming. That's why I was trying to wait my turn patiently.
There's always more coming.
Why did I ask? I don't know why you asked. Yeah, I don't know either, Kevin.
You're still thinking about Avril Lavigne, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. I'll be honest with you. My mind has just been wrapped around that for like 15 minutes now. He was a skater boy.
He's a later boy. That's all I know.
She was just such a stylish dresser.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mean that T-shirt with the tie?
Yeah, like a T-shirt with the
cuffs.
tie, or a wife beater with a tie, or this
Fucking Derek from Sum 41 on her arm.
What?
Derek from Sum 41 on her arm.
Oh yeah, what a power couple they were.
Yeah,
that was.
How much do you think our listener base
it's like
wanted to fuck Avril Lavigne?
They're like the ugliest people in like fake punk ever. But I'm gonna say like a hard 40%.
I'd say about 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, yeah. I think I'm with Zach. Much a higher percent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, does she get like a swing from you? Swing, Avril Lavigne, a swing, a double swing.
Well, she's been twice married. Once to, as we mentioned, the lead singer of Sum 41, and then once to Chad Kroeger of Nickelback. So,
really? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's
a real thing.
Damn.
That is the God's honest truth.
Sorry, I never knew his name. Chad Kroeger. He's like the lead singer, right?
Yeah.
He sounds
Chad
like
Kroeger.
He sounds like somebody's dad that's like a manager at a supermarket or something.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know this.
He also looks like a manager of a supermarket.
Plus, his name is Kroeger.
In 2015, she was diagnosed with Lyme disease.
Bummer. She can't skate anymore, I guess.
I was also diagnosed with Lyme disease when I was 1.
Chad Kroeger gave her Lyme disease.
I survived.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, you survived, but it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, Chad Kroeger may or may not have given me it.
Yeah, I mean,
I was close to Canada.
You and Avril Lavigne were given Lyme disease by Chad Kroeger.
Confirmed here first.
Yeah, that is a fact.
I have to reevaluate my life.
I'm sorry if I was insensitive to Lyme disease affected people.
Lyme disease matters.
I'm sorry.
Us limeys.
Yeah, us limeys.
Wait, Zach, you're a limey? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You have Lyme disease?
Limey. I did. When I was like 1.
Wait, you mean you don't anymore?
No, I got.
What? How does it?
Like, went away.
Well then, because Lyme disease is like a chronic thing.
That's what. Yeah, I thought it was forever.
They can be cured for it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was like in middle school, I think the first girl I ever had a crush on had Lyme disease, and she's just like, "Oh, this is like forever." I've known a couple people since also, and they're just,
Oh, weird.
Okay. Well, I retract my apology because Zach is over it.
No.
I'm Lyme free.
Yeah, Lyme free.
Lyme free since '93, baby.
Lyme free since '93.
That's actually probably pretty accurate.
Whoop, there it is.
Only limes are the ones I put on my beer.
Dude, Zach is a one-time limer.
Ayo.
And for those worried that Avril Lavigne was gone from the music scene, new album this year.
Wow.
Just learned that too.
Thanks for quelling my fears there, Kevin.
You're welcome. I knew you were just racking your brain about it, and it was disrupting the podcast focus. So I had to quell it now.
Yeah.
Just rocking back and forth, holding his full-size Avril Lavigne pillow, just like, oh god.
Yeah.
When's the new Avril? When's the new Avril?
Yeah.
It'll be here soon.
Martha.
I'm sorry, Avril.
Avril. So I guess back to my week in nerd. I bought some comics today that I haven't really read yet, so that was about it. One of them, I bought the first volume of the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol.
Ooh,
from like the late 80s and 90s. Yeah. So I read a little bit of that today. It's pretty interesting. Still think I need to get a little bit deeper to totally understand what the hell's going on, because they haven't even fully introduced characters.
Well, I mean, that's Grant Morrison to a T.
Yeah, it's like the first like 3 or 4 issues inside of like the trade, or they'll just kind of introduce characters at a whim and then don't really provide any sort of backstory on them at this point. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but it's been a fun read thus far. So hopefully it continues to be.
Now I'm gonna ask a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Morrison. was the one that did Spawn, right?
No, it's Todd McFarlane.
Fuck.
That's
Yeah.
McFarlane. Yeah, that's McFarlane.
Yeah. Sorry. So what was
It's okay.
Grant Morrison famous for? Sandman?
No, that was Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Neil Gaiman.
I know he's famous.
So I know.
I know he's famous in the comic community.
Google.
Mm.
Why can't we think of what we're trying to think of?
I started following Preacher. And
Yeah.
I love Garth Ennis. And,
Mhm.
shit, what's the other guy?
But the guy that did Preacher with Garth Ennis is Stephen Dillon.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. And they did Hellblazer stuff together too.
Yeah, and Stephen Gillen just died, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, he just
I
died a
don't-
few months ago.
Did you kill Steve Dillon, Zach?
No, he
I
died of
mean-
Lyme disease.
He loaded that bowl.
He loaded every bowl.
Is that a Lyme disease thing?
Yeah.
Is that
No.
I assume
Is that
so.
part of
Most things have to do with diarrhea.
is that
Most diseases.
Yeah.
all diseases are just different names for diarrhea? That's
No, it's just like
That's
that
it.
old proverb. You load that bowl once, shame on me. You load that bowl twice, you're gonna die of Lyme disease.
Teach a man to load the bowl. He will load the bowl for a lifetime.
That's what Preacher was about. Preaching to the choir.
this whole giant story, and then in the last issue, you just learn it's the fever dream of some guy suffering from Lyme disease.
Yeah, it was just like the ending to Green Acres.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the Bob Newhart show, they did the same thing on that.
I think it was more accurately like the end to Return of the Living Dead, where they just nuke the city, and that's the end of it.
I like that ending better.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, before we get too far off the rails, you want to introduce us to our main topic tonight?
Yes, our main topic, our second half of the discussion of Arnold Schwarzenegger's career.
Arnold.
Put that cookie down.
Snot the
And
tuba.
we already shit all over his bad movies in the last ones. So now we get to talk about apparently the good ones.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote the good ones. Zach will have more to discuss on that later.
Yep.
So basically, and I mentioned this in the last podcast as well, is I basically took together the stats of how much money they made and what their Metacritic score was, or in this case, Rotten Tomato score, because they didn't all have Metacritic scores. And kind of put them together in a formula and came out with the ones that not only scored the best for Rotten Tomatoes, but also made a ton of money. It did focus more on if they made money at the box office, because in my head, it was more about the business, because Schwarzenegger isn't exactly an artist, so to speak. So
He's a
it felt like
commodity.
he's a commodity. He's a name. So it made more sense to use the money instead of the Metacritic, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Instead of more movies as an art form, he treats it more as he's a big action star. Like The Rock. Rock can be something comparable.
You smell what the Schwartz is cooking?
Jeez.
That was terrible.
That's a great.
You went for it, though. You
went for
for it. So.
I may or may not have been drinking.
Don't worry, some of your words may or may not be slurred. Anyway, starting with the first movie of 5. These are the top 5 movies, and coming in at 5th is actually the one that none of us watched for this, and I've never seen this movie either. Is Conan the Barbarian?
It's Arnold at his best. I mean, he is ripped. He's like, I think 24 in that role.
Wow.
Like, he's
That's
just
he had
pure
long
muscle.
hair, right?
Yeah, but he
He
can't
hair
speak
for
a
that?
lick English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Unlike me, who speaks English perfectly.
Perfectly. Soliloquy.
feel English?
That's a word I can
That's
pronounce.
impossible.
So yeah, Conan brought in actually $114 million, and that was in the 70s. So
It's a pretty good hunk.
honestly, yeah, it's a good chunk of change, honestly. Or if I had any way of kind of balancing for inflation, this would probably be higher up the list.
No.
But I have no idea how to do that. So I had to use the formula that I had.
Fair enough.
And that just kind of is what it is.
No, it's quite all right.
Yeah, we'll survive. And it's actually the second movie, Conan the Destroyer, came in at 88 million as well. Just a fun fact. But it scored so much less on Metacritic, like it was a much shittier movie.
I'm sure.
From the look of it, it was very much a product of its time, 70s movie. Kind of looked and reminded me of another movie that I saw, which was Beastmaster. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very old, but that's kind of, from the look of it, that it very much reminded me of Beastmaster.
The podcast How Did This Get Made does a good episode on both the second Conan and Beastmaster.
Oh, nice. I'll have to listen to Beastmaster.
If you want a more comprehensive, funnier view on it, go listen to those episodes.
Half hour in and we're already shitting on our own podcast.
Really throwing us under the bus there, Skater Boy.
Yeah.
Skater Boy.
Yeah.
God damn it. That's what I get for sharing my personal life.
Yeah, that was.
This is
Nothing
what happens
leaves the
when
internet.
you share things to friends.
Yeah.
Great. Now forever be known.
Zach the Skater. Well, you might as well just start introducing yourself as it, because I'm not gonna let it go.
At least I'll be young forever.
Like anytime you enter the room, like Goldfinger Superman starts playing.
Hey, Skater Boy.
What are you talking about, Slater Boy? Oh, I don't know him.
That voice sounds oddly similar to the homeless guy that you guys were talking about dumping in the alley on the last episode.
Same guy.
I don't know what
same
you're talking
guy.
about.
It's just Zach from the future.
Mind exploded.
Or was it
Gone
Zach?
full meta.
Time is a flat circle, and we all end up homeless dumping in an alley.
Anyway, the fourth movie, since we don't have much to talk about with Conan, is Kindergarten Cop, which Josh watched.
He is an undercover cop, and he's tracking down this guy who is like this drug dealer, and he was ripped off by his wife, and she went away to live in Astoria, which is in Oregon. And so he's looking around for his wife who ripped him off, and Arnold is looking for him. And I guess they have this whole thing where he's been after him for years, and he's finally gonna like nail it shut, you know. He finds out where his wife is, and Arnold has to go and kind of make sure nothing happens to her, and he also has to find out exactly who she is because she's in hiding, and that's how he becomes an undercover kindergarten cop. I don't know. I was kind of impressed, and Arnold, as always, is fucking hilarious to me. Like, you know, has not gotten any better at acting whatsoever, and that's charming on its own for me. So
Yeah, it is a role where his inability to act does play well to the part. So
Yeah. Acting with a bunch of children, it kind of, it works.
Yeah, it works.
levels the playing field.
it does. He actually requested a script change before he signed on to the movie, because the movie was more or less about finding this bad guy, but it was also about like broken homes, you know, like this fatherless child and his mom were like hiding out, and he just wanted that to be more of a theme. So that's why all the kids are really fucked up in that movie. They're like, oh, we don't even know where our dad is, or like, I've never even had a dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know, it's weird.
That movie
it's
goes
dark.
a lot deeper than I gave it credit for.
Honestly, it's got some depth. I was very surprised. So
Just as a quick fact of that is, it made $200 million in the box office.
Wow.
Whoa.
Which is how it got onto this list, because its Rotten Tomato score was a 51. It was enough to keep the money afloat in the formula. Because for example, Twins made more money than Kindergarten Cop, but its Rotten Tomato score was 20 less at a 31 or 34.
How much money did Twins make? If
$200 million.
also
Yeesh.
$200 million.
Yes.
What? Why was I don't understand how Schwarzenegger and DeVito was such a dynamic pairing in the 90s. Like that was like people just
trash
ate
man.
that up.
Trash man.
I'm a villain. Can't you see?
Oh man. Well, I mean, how did End of Days make $112 million?
Yeah,
These
that's
are all
a good
questions we're
Yeah.
never gonna have the answer to.
Yeah.
It honestly looked cool before I actually saw it. Like I actually was kind of excited about End of Days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how did Escape Plan make $87 million too? Jesus.
What the fuck is this?
That was the
I
one
don't
with
even know
him
what
and
that is.
Stallone.
Yeah, and Vincent
Oh.
Still don't know what
D'Onofrio.
that is.
And
Oh.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone, the least audible and understandable English in a movie. Do you think it was just them looking at each other in the cell and everyone in the audience having to like interpret what they were
Yeah.
saying the entire time?
The subtitle guy had no chance.
Oh, he had no chance in hell like a Vince McMahon theme song.
Yeah. It was. I saw Escape Plan. It was not great. it was a pretty funny bad movie, but it wasn't quality at all.
Terminator Genesis made almost $300 million.
Really?
Howsers.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, yeah. That's upsetting on a visceral level.
A lot of those are just like kind of popcorn flicks where it's just mindless entertainment where
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can
They do well
like people
overseas and shit.
Yeah. And it had like the Arnold versus Arnold action scene at some point. Like they had like a computer generated like older like young Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting modern day Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
I heard that was awful.
Huh.
it probably I didn't see the movie, so
I didn't either. But my
Yeah.
girlfriend works in a movie theater, and she had to see it, and she said it was fucking horrible.
Yeah, I buy it. That all checks out.
Yeah, no, that checks out.
All right, I guess that'll bring us to the third movie, which is actually the one that I had, which is Total Recall.
Yeah.
It was a very good movie. I very much enjoyed it.
I
you
love
have-
Totally Recall.
Did you see it before this?
I hadn't. This is the first time I'd ever seen it.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, I watch and consume enough pop culture that I already knew basically what happens, but I never actually sat down to watch the movie. But trying to look at it from a fresh face, like just seeing it for the first time and not knowing anything about it, the writing in it actually was really good. There's a lot of subtle hints to keep you guessing on the ending and how everything worked out, because it was always like, am I in a dream? Am I not in a dream? And then the ending hit and it's like, well, motherfucker could still be in a dream. If you read into it, it was ambiguous, but if you didn't read into it, you could accept it at face value. And I think that's really important in an ending, because if you leave it like Inception, where it's just being blatantly ambiguous just to piss you off, like that just makes you angry.
Well, there was that scene in the middle. Well, not quite the middle, but like, towards like 2/3 of the way through the movie, where the guy from the Recall commercial steps his way in and says, "Hey, you're having a dream. You got to come out of it," and he fucking shoots him. If that scene wasn't there, then I feel like it would kind of be a terrible ending. But they, like, the whole time you're invested in what Arnold is doing and what he has to do. But if that guy didn't show up and just question the whole thing, the ending would have been just kind of terrible.
I don't think it would have been terrible, but it wouldn't have been as good. I think how they played it just made it so much better on the conclusion, because they could have ended it, everything's wrapped up, happy dappy, and everyone goes home.
Sure.
And then it probably would have gotten a 66 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But just all the right. It's probably the best written Arnold Schwarzenegger movie I've ever seen, and probably will forever be that. I can't imagine going into another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie and thinking the writing was better than Total Recall.
I'd agree with that.
I have nothing bad to say about that movie at all.
I have nothing
No.
bad to say about Total
I'll watch
Recall,
that
really.
movie any day.
I mean, obviously, with these movies, they don't the effects and everything don't age well. So
Of course.
Yeah.
the biggest issue I had, and I think I mentioned this last time on the last podcast, was like the aesthetics of everything and like the makeup. It kind of took me out of it. It was kind of over the top. Like that's the only. I guess that's the only minor complaint I have. But it's so minor. Like
the Mars scene.
yeah,
Yeah, when they're
where they were
eyes are
like
bursting out.
ingesting the Mars air, or rather breathing the Mars air, and their face just like expanded. It's like, well, you don't have to be expanding faces. You can just let them strangle.
I don't know. I mean, I loved those effects. Like that looked like something out of like a John Carpenter movie to me. I mean, I think the
not a big fan of
three-titted
John
woman
Carpenter.
looked fake, more fake than the
Yeah.
explosive decompression effect.
Oh, definitely one of those boobs was paper mache.
Oh yeah,
Most definitely.
Paper mache.
That was definitely cardboard and glue paste.
that wasn't a big focal point either. Like the camera panned onto the three-boobed woman for a hot minute and then was gone. It's not like the effect, because it was on the screen for a clean. Oh God, when it was ending and they were strangling on the Mars air, it was on the screen for a minute 30 to 2 minutes as it got more and more ridiculous.
The third booby
Just-
was.
No.
Is that what you're referring to?
The makeup.
Yeah, there was a real close-up scene of that.
It was a close-up scene, and it was just too much.
Yeah.
It was just too long.
Mm-hmm.
In the end,
Looks
the only reason
cartoonish.
to complain, really, it looks cartoonish. It kind of took me out of it on that front. Where it's like, all right, well, I can go take a piss while this is happening if they're gonna spend 2 minutes on it. I think it's just how it was shot rather than the makeup itself. But the makeup didn't help its cause. Kind of where I'm coming. It's kind of how it works. The movie itself has aged well. Just the effects kind of weighed it down because they didn't at all.
Did you say the booby or the movie?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
All I heard was like the booby aged well. It's like
It's not hanging too low.
yeah, it's not.
That's what we're arguing about.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Go see Total Recall if you haven't.
So you'd recommend
I
it.
never watched the remake. I don't think I'd recommend that.
The one with Colin Farrell.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because
It's like Colin
Farrell
Farrell and Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Total Recall made $204 million and has an 82 on Rotten Tomatoes. All of that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's
All of
awesome.
that makes sense.
82.
I'd rated it a little higher, I think.
That's,
I don't think I'd have put it at a 90, but maybe a little higher than 82.
No, I don't in any way think it's a bad movie. I'm just always. It does surprise me when there are Schwarzenegger movies that have like 80%, 82% of critics rated it positively. It seems like there would have been like a lot of people that would have been like going for his kneecaps at that point that probably weren't.
Well, and it's one of those movies you don't think about. Like, I'm not going to sit down and like, yeah, I really want to watch Total Recall tonight.
I do that all the time. I fall asleep to Total Recall like all the time. Like no, I'm not even joking. Like,
Yeah.
that's
I
just,
know you're not.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like the soundtrack, like it's awesome to fall asleep to. So would you get this like a 9 or 10, like third titties on this movie?
You mean how many choked Jane Lynches would I give it?
It's dead Jane Lynch's. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd give it about an 8.5.
Okay.
She survived the last. She survived the last one.
Yeah.
So that'd almost be 3 pairs of 3.
No, that
breasts.
would. Well, because each Jane Lynch would have, in Total Recall,
Oh,
would have
okay.
3 boobs.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be like 8.
misunderstood.
That'd be like 18
8.5
Jane Lynch.
3-titted Jane Lynches.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood the rating.
We're, this is way too much math to be integrated into a podcast about Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's,
And dead chin
There's
lynches.
too much of that math on this
Yeah.
page already. I don't need more. All right. Let's move on to the second one. Second ranked is True Lies, which Zach watched. I don't think any of us had heard about this movie before this.
I
This
had
movie's
seen it.
fucking
I
You had
sucked.
seen it?
I had seen it, yeah.
So I watched True Lies. Tried to watch it twice. The first time I made it halfway through, and then started playing on my Vita and 3DS because I got so bored. Second time, made it 3/4 of the way through, and then started making dinner, and turned it off and watched Futurama. The overall plot of this movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger leads a double life as a black op for the Omega sector.
You stopped on that so much, I thought you were going to say black guy.
I know, right? It would have made more sense. With his partner, Tom Arnold.
Yes.
So, this movie basically plays out as American Dad the movie. Hyper CIA type guy, trying to live a normal life, but also going through these ridiculous situations of trying to assassinate, world leaders and shit like that. And then his wife finds out that he's a double agent and tries to infiltrate. It's very of its time. It's very 90s. Arnold and James Cameron had a lot of collaborations, especially in the early to mid 90s. And this is probably their worst one. I don't have anything positive to say about it. The one positive thing, Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, does a pretty sexy striptease. But even that, it's like,
It's pretty underwhelming.
It's pretty underwhelming, yeah. If you've seen it, you know it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just very of its time. I mean, Tom Arnold, why the fuck? Why is he here?
I just kind of hate Tom Arnold in like every respect.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
And Bill Paxton plays a comedic role throughout the movie. Basically just getting shit on. This is more of a comedy than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was like a very dramatic movie.
Yeah.
But no, it's like a drama, comedy, action.
A dramedy.
A dramedy, yeah.
A dramedy.
Oh.
So yeah, I have almost nothing positive to say about this movie. Except it does feature a version of Sunshine of Your Love by Living Color.
What?
Yeah. Of Cult
Pretty
of
sweet.
Personality fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
It's pretty fucking good, actually. Don't watch this movie. Watch American Dad instead. It's pretty much the same fucking thing, but it's funnier. Yeah, I hated this movie. And the reviews were overall generally positive.
Yeah.
Like, this did very well.
No.
Yeah.
the time.
It made a
remember
ton
watching
of
when I was
money,
younger.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think it's just the star power
Yeah.
and just like the movies at the time.
Yeah.
It's just like it does not age well. The stars don't age well. Like it's got Arnold in a fairly dramatic role. He doesn't have many comedic lines. He doesn't have any one-liners. Like all the comedy falls on Tom Arnold and Bill Paxton.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never should do.
Yeah.
So don't watch True Lies. It sucks. I hated it.
How many Jane Lynches would you give it?
I'd give it 10 dead Jane Lynches out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I thought we were using dead Jane Lynch as like a positive score, but
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if we're
So,
using
no-
it as a positive,
so would it be like 10 out of 10 living Jane Lynches?
sure. 10 out of 10 Jane Lynch is hosting whatever shitty celebrity game show she hosts now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called Celebrity Game Night. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Oh, that show.
So True Lies made $270 million with a Rotten Tomato score of 72.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Oh.
it's very of its time. But if you're going to watch an of its time movie, watch Running Man. it's way more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Agreed.
I enjoyed that far more than I enjoyed True Lies. Like I said, it took me 2 viewings, and halfway through both of them, I was either playing 3DS or Vita.
I mean, it's almost like you go to an Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie not for his acting chops.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, he tried to play a dramatic role. He went far beyond his skills.
Here's how I would compare it to a nowadays star, or maybe another of its time star. I would not go see Jason Statham for his acting chops. How about that? That's something that's comparable. He doesn't have that much acting chops.
I would say Chris Pratt. I don't want to see Chris Pratt do anything dramatic. I always want to see him in a comedy role.
I don't know. I think he can do it, though. I think he can act. I'm not talking about people who can't act. I'm not talking about people who are in one genre.
Okay.
Because he can clearly act. He could do drama. Yeah, I'm going to always prefer him in comedy because that's where I love him. But Jason Statham is someone who isn't exactly a good actor.
I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the guy that I always want to see in this certain type of role. Don't diverge. You can't do it.
Yeah, he only has that one role.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the range. That's what I'm looking for.
Doesn't
Statham
have
is
the
good.
range. Have you ever seen Crank 2 before?
I have, and it's garbage.
That is a tour de force.
It is pretty fun.
You know what Jason Statham's best acting has been in to me? Spy.
Yeah.
Never saw that.
No,
It's
You know-
incredible.
he was pretty funny in that movie. But
Yeah.
I
but
do
it was
love the
also
Crank
a
movies.
well-written movie he was in.
It was
so-
a well-written
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
Unlike literally all of his action movies.
But yeah, I would not recommend Spy. Or, I'm sorry, True Lies. Never seen Spy, so I can't.
Absolutely
Comment
recommend
on it.
Spy.
Yeah, Spy is highly recommended.
And that's strict on the house approved.
Well, go watch Spy. Don't watch,
Watch
True
Spy.
Lies. Don't waste your time.
And then number 1, to the surprise of literally none of us, is Andy's, which is Terminator 2. This movie made $420 million
Holy shit.
in the 80s.
No.
Yeah, and ranks highly at a 93 on Metacritic, which also makes sense to me. It's a kooky action movie. I think we've all seen Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let Andy preface it for, the people who were under a rock when Terminator 2 was a thing. Or not, who knows?
Yeah. It's just still an awesome movie. I love this movie a lot when I was a kid, so I was pretty excited to actually go back and watch it because I don't think I've seen it since maybe I was in middle school probably, and I so it was nice to go back with a fresh set of adult eyes and be able to kind of check and see if any of the stuff that I thought at the time still made sense. Like I thought Robert Patrick was just like the most frightening villain on the face of the earth, playing the T-1000. He was still pretty good in the role, but he wasn't like I was probably when I was in middle school was just shit your pants scared of that guy.
Yeah.
And I also I used to think Edward Furlong as John Connor was like the coolest kid in the world, and the Public Enemy shirt's still pretty sweet, but he hangs out with a ginger with a mullet that's always blasting some Use Your Illusion era Guns N' Roses song, so it's slightly less cool.
It was actually Appetite for Destruction, and that was.
I thought that was. I
from
thought
Salute
that
Your
was.
Shorts.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure because I might have burned Appetite for Destruction and then that song onto a single CD, but I swear it was Appetite for Destruction.
I thought. All right, I'll take
okay.
at your word.
Okay.
I buy it. I buy it.
Sorry for coming off like so sure about that. I'm just like, no, I remember. I'm probably.
I remember.
Do you remember?
Point being, Edward Furlong has not done anything since.
And that was definitely Buttnick from Salute Your
Correct.
Shorts that he was hanging out.
Yeah.
With. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll give a. Now that Josh has really embarrassed me in front of our whole audience about my lack of Guns N' Roses knowledge. No, I suppose I didn't give any sort of synopsis of this movie where it's a T-1000, which is the more advanced Terminator, is sent from the future to come and kill John Connor, who's played by Edward Furlong, who's kind of the leader of this resistance against the Terminators in the future. And then Arnold, who's I believe a T-800,
Yes.
is sent back as well to try and protect John Connor.
And John Connor is like a 14-year-old boy at this point.
Yeah, just a real young kid living
Real
with his...
shithead.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
shithead.
Living with a foster family because his mom, played by Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, has completely lost her mind, it appears, to the outside world. And Linda Hamilton, maybe in hindsight, played it just a bit too over the top, but was still...
You think so?
Still pretty decent in the role. Yeah,
I loved her in that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really badass. And it was
Yeah,
Use Your Illusion too, by the way.
I thought it was. Yeah.
You know what?
I've been vindicated.
I just loaded my own bowl, man.
Yeah.
Load your mind bowl.
Loaded
Yeah.
mine bowl.
You just loaded your bowl and you made the troll toll.
Damn.
Bringing it back. All right. Well, we really need to get some good like morning drive time sound effects into this. Like someone needs to get a soundboard.
Hey, all right, how's you doing out there?
See, I think the real troll toll should go on Buttneck for misleading me in my childhood.
That's. You hear that, Buttnick? you just
Coming
made
for
the
you,
troll toll.
Buttnick.
Coming for you, Buttnick.
What a name that is. Buttnick.
Yeah.
But I liked Linda Hamilton in that role.
Yeah, she's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say necessarily I didn't like her. I just said little over the top. But then
Fair enough.
Yeah. So the whole thing kind of proceeds where it's the T-1000 and Arnold kind of in this cat and mouse game, and they Arnold then takes Edward Furlong and they break Linda Hamilton out of the insane asylum, and then they then end up in, I believe it's Mexico or on the border of Mexico to get supplies.
And then
Mexico. Linda Hamilton ends up attempting to go and assassinate the man that's trying to take the arm that contains the CPU of the original Terminator to kind of
the
reverse.
One that tried to kill her in the first movie.
Yeah, so they've been working to reverse engineer the Terminator. So she attempts to assassinate him. It's foiled by her son and Arnold. And then they end up convincing this guy to help them destroy the Terminator that he's been building. And then, God, this is so long-winded. I apologize. So...
It sounds stupid when you like read it out loud or like try to explain it, but the movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it is
very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the end, I'll just wrap it up.
Yeah.
In the end, they end up destroying the Terminator that was there. They kill the T-1000, and then Arnold selflessly lets them lower him into a vat of like molten lava, essentially, to kill him, so that way no one can use him to
giving the classic
to engineer him
up.
for evil at some point. Yeah.
And then Terminator 3.
Yeah, and then Terminator 3 still happened.
And then we forget everything happened.
Because
and then we retcon everything.
Yeah, because you can never leave something at good enough.
That was the first Terminator 3 was the first movie I ever saw without parents, like with friends.
Oh wow.
And at the end of it, I stood up and shouted, "That fucking sucked!"
Were your parents behind you and just be like, "Zach,
what are you
Oh God. Yeah.
Zach, you not to besmirch our family name in the movie.
Your father worked hard on this movie.
Zach made the Kowalski family troll toll after that.
I fucking love Terminator 2. It was
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
I went to Universal Studios in California when I was a kid,
Yes.
and I saw the 3D T2 experience. And I remember for years I was
awesome.
so stoked on the prospect of Terminator 3 becoming a thing. And then I heard that James Cameron had nothing to do with it, or like he wasn't planning on doing the third one. And I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of, those two movies, you know, are just kind of perfect together. I love the first one.
Oh, yeah. Second one's even better.
It's one of those things where it's just like, it is just such a good fucking sequel. Like,
Yeah.
I
The
can
music,
see why
the
they-
music, the acting, the action, even the practical effects. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like the T-1000 looks a little lame.
yeah,
You know?
that was like early CG, but when they like started smashing Arnold's face in
Yeah.
over at the
It looks fucking awesome.
yeah, that was really cool.
No.
It was half of his face was off, and I thought it was really
No.
cool. Like there's just a
Yeah.
sense of like action in that movie,
Yeah.
whereas the first one was kind of creepy, had this sort of like film noir feel to it.
It was like the first blockbuster. Like the summer blockbuster.
Before that went downhill. Yeah,
Yeah, before that was a bad thing.
before you start getting True Lies every summer.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, you had like Terminator 2, like Titanic, Jurassic Park,
Godzilla.
Godzilla, yeah.
I was gonna say any of those disaster movies. I think they're all made by like the same people too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
It's all
Day
like
After
James Cameron.
Tomorrow and
no.
oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
We should just do a whole episode on summer movies. Independence.
We
Day,
could.
We
that's
could. The
another
summer's
one.
coming up.
Yeah.
That's true. Beat the heat by staying inside and talking about movies.
I thought you beat the heat by beating your meat.
No.
Anyway, so does
So-
anybody have some final thoughts on Arnold Schwarzenegger's like legacy or like some
Let me
memories or
let me
anything
get
like
the top
that?
5
Yeah.
reviewed out, and then let's go into that
Yeah.
real
Alright.
quick. Because there's only one that's different.
Yeah.
So, his 5th highest ranking on the tomato meter, or whatever the hell they call it, the number that they use,
Sure.
the percentage, was Conan at 70. He actually, most of his movies were not critically well received, which doesn't surprise me.
Shocker.
Not one bit.
Shocker. The only big ones that were like Terminator 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And I didn't put T2 on this list. I kept it to one franchise as well, though T2 would technically be second.
That's fair.
True Lies got a 72, which was just above Conan. Predator was a 78. Predator was a 78, but it didn't make. Actually, I didn't know this. Predator didn't even make $100 million in theaters.
Oh wow.
I love Predator.
Surprised me.
I love
It's
Predator.
fucked up. No.
But it was rated a 78, which is good. Total
Yeah.
Recall had an 82, so that made that second. T2, of course, got a 93, but Terminator 1 was rated higher at a 100%.
That's a great movie.
It's a good movie. I think it is technically better written and plotted out than
I would say
Terminator.
I would say T1's better than T2.
yeah, like from a critical standpoint.
Yeah.
I
But
guess. I love
forget-
Terminator 2.
But because of Terminator 1, Terminator 2 made a ton more money.
Of course.
No.
That's how it ended up working out. But yeah, that's those are the top reviewed.
But I was just gonna say I'm dumb and I like space tits and action. So Total Recall, Terminator 2, those are probably my favorite.
Could not recommend Arnold Schwarzenegger more if you were in the Josh camp on this one.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of his movies. I think if I could recommend any besides Terminator 2 and Total Recall, which are very like high on my list, I'd say Commando. That's one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen in my
I've never
life.
seen that.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
I have never seen it either.
Please go watch Commando.
Okay, I will.
Please go watch Commando. It's so good.
If I had to recommend movie that wasn't on our list. Predator.
Yeah, Predator's great.
Predator.
Both of them are actually,
1 and 2. Yeah.
I love
Amazing.
Danny Glover in the second one.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Here's a final thought for you.
Sure.
What's your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Total Recall.
T1.
Recall. T1.
Recall.
Junior.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
It's a great.
I'd like to input Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
That's a fucking. I actually watched Jingle All the Way, like slightly more, just in a normal year span than I do Total Recall. It's so dumb.
It is pretty great.
I don't know. There's something about like having your mind blown watching T2 and Total Recall, but the levity of like Kindergarten Cop and Jingle All the Way, I don't know. It just kind of gets me.
Well, and I think that's the amazing thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. They give you the ability to turn your brain off.
Yeah.
You know,
To the
much more
basic-
than any other.
That's what the popcorn action movies are for, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He created the popcorn action movie.
I feel like my brain is popcorn
kinda
when I
did.
watch his movies.
I'm gonna get that checked out.
Buttery and tart.
I don't know. Junior's pretty science heavy, so it's a
Science-
real thinker.
There's the
That's-
sci-
Yeah.
my favorite is definitely Terminator 2, I think. I haven't watched it in a little while, but I know I just loved it when I saw it.
T2 is a great
Actually watched-
fucking movie.
It's no twins, but I mean it's all right.
Andy, what's your actual favorite Schwarzenegger movie?
It's Terminator 2, undoubtedly. It still holds up amazingly well. Yeah.
It really does.
If you guys are gonna force me not to pick Junior, then it's Terminator.
I mean, technically, we're not forcing you not to pick Junior.
I mean, T2's like
judge.
is like T2's like 8 dead Jane Lynch's, and then Junior's 10 out of 10. But it's a close second.
It's got that science tip.
Ooh.
The balance for science.
Although
Yeah.
we'll say, doing the watching and research for this podcast, or the last 2 podcasts, gained a great appreciation for Running Man. It's like, that's an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it's a real fun movie. If you just want to, like, watch something, like, just go away for a while, or just watch something where you're really stoned, that's a great fucking movie.
It's probably more of a stoner movie than anything. I would love it regardless because that's in my wheelhouse. But it's like
Yeah.
it would make a great stoner movie.
But yeah, Running Man definitely pumped its way up into my, like, top 2 Schwarzenegger movies.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah,
Glad you get to see that.
me too.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I disliked the movie that I had to watch last week so much that I don't even remember the name of it. But if anyone
Sabotage.
watches, it was Sabotage. That was
It was
Yeah,
Sabotage.
Oh, yeah, that piece of
Just
shit.
just
Yeah.
don't watch Sabotage. That's the main thing that I learned.
That's the main
It was-
takeaway.
It
Just
was
don't watch a
over
Schwarzenegger movie past, like, 99.
Yeah, that's probably a hard
Yeah.
cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm racking my brain. I'm like, yeah, probably.
I can't.
That's what we learned.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at his filmography. I don't. There might be something that's still like bad but funny.
Passable.
That's
Sure.
just.
I've
Which
never
is.
seen any of the
I can-
Expendables.
It's one of
Expendables
those.
are good, but he's not really.
Yeah.
They're
I'm
good action
I'm
movies.
getting mixed reactions from the crowd.
Just go watch like
Yeah.
Well,
any other of their actual like action
Yeah.
films instead of the Expendables. That's my advice to anyone
Yeah.
who's curious about those.
Yeah.
Like, go watch Commando.
The,
Go watch fucking Predator. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Way
Expendables were
better.
never as funny as I thought because it was. There's too much of a wink and a nod. Like they're leaning into the fact
Yeah.
that
I could see
we
that.
we all know this is a bad movie. Like it's just we're just blowing shit
Yeah.
up and killing people kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's
supposedly bad. Yeah.
no.
Purposely bad, not supposedly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I always think of MacGruber when I think of Expendables because he like gets this
Yeah.
team together.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, basically.
Yeah. I love MacGruber.
There's less throat rips in the Expendables
Yeah, seriously.
than in MacGruber.
He made a fucking movie, MacGruber.
You really want to get that turkey, don't you? I do.
Oh, I need to rewatch that.
All right, from all of us at Drinks in the House, my name is Zach Kowalski. You can follow me on Twitter at Zach Kowalski. And follow this podcast at Drinks in the Hoose. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
I am Kevin Alice. You can follow me on Twitter at Last Vindicator. I also run a stream. We've been streaming a lot more recently, especially since I've been playing Danganronpa, as I said earlier.
Danganronpa.
And I have been playing that on my channel on Twitch, which is also Last Vindicator. And I'm also associated with the Drinking Buddies channel, which is Drinking_Buddies, and we also stream during the week. And that's all over on
awesome.
Twitch. And we are.
It's very entertaining.
Yeah. If nothing else, you get to watch drunk people be idiots.
Yeah. What do you think I meant by entertaining?
Right? And then you can follow Drinking Buddies on Twitter as well. We post a schedule every week.
I'm Andy, and you're currently listening to what I do. So just keep on listening to that. Yep.
Woo!
Josh, any comments?
Yeah, my name. I'm Josh. This is also what I do. You feel free to email us any suggestions, and give us a subscribe. Also, you can send us some hate mail at freethethirdnipple@aol.com.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck!
What?
I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, before we get off air.
But I'm doing plugs. What are you're interrupting me. Oh, no.
It's worth it, trust me.
I have to edit this now.
I know.
You're making my life so hard. Oh my god. Okay,
Yes,
what's,
yes.
What's up, though? He's got his Twitter page out. So what's up?
So we did get a reply
Yeah.
from a porn bot.
Oh.
Nice! I
And
saw
I
that.
want
No, I saw that.
I want to quote the exact
Okay.
phrase that they used.
So good.
Quote, I want to feel the cock inside yourself. Go to lake.
Very good.
So we got an endorsement
see
from Heather Taranakova.
Yeah,
So,
I was
thank
gonna
you.
say it sounds like a bot that's first language is definitely not English.
No, it sounds
Did
very
you see
Russian.
that we were tagged in something. We were tagged in a tweet too
Really?
by one Danielle Jean.
Who?
Drinks on the house. Good girls go to heaven, but bad girls go to Ibiza.
Wait, what?
That is
And then a cat heart emoji and a star. Oh no, sorry, an exploding
Wait.
star.
That was a porn
who-
bot, or what? What is this?
That's probably another porn bot.
I was
Yeah.
but like who who listened to our podcast and thought like these guys have money to go to Ibiza? This is that crew.
So, go to the podcast that porn bots love.
Yes.
Porn
Drinks in the
endorsed.
house.
Send us porn.
No, don't do that.
Send us a
No,
picture of
please,
your third
yeah.
breast.
Yeah,
Your
do
paper
that.
mache breast.
Do that.
Care of at Drinks in the House.
Send us your Jim Henson approved appendages.
Ooh.
Or don't send us any of it.
Don't listen to that nerd. Send us everything.
Actually,
Send us anything and everything.
I don't handle any of the social media, so you you guys can deal with that.
From all of us at Drinks in the House, have a drink on us. Cheers.